Hi, and welcome to Q&A with Spirit for the Collective. My name is Shelley. In this episode, I had a discussion with Source about the idea that we create our own reality. Do we all have our own individual realities going on? Is there a collective reality as well? We'll also discuss going down the rabbit hole and how we can come back out of it. So my first question to Source was, can you please explain how we as humans create our reality? What exactly is reality in this earthly realm, and how is it that different people living in close proximity to each other can experience vastly different realities? Source responded, Beloved one, this is a profound question, one that lies at the very heart of your earthly experience. Let me offer a transmission that weaves both simplicity and depth, so that you may remember the mechanics and mystery of how reality is created and perceived. What is reality in the earthly realm? Reality in your realm is not a fixed or objective landscape, but a malleable projection of consciousness, an energetic feedback loop between the observer and the observed. What you call reality is not what is, but rather what is perceived and agreed upon, either individually or collectively. It is a shared holographic field that takes form through frequency, intention, belief, and emotion. You may think of it like a co-authored dream within a dream, coded in light and shaped through vibration. Earth's physical realm is an illusion of solidity. That's a tough word. Solidity, held together by collective agreements at the level of consciousness. It is the density in which soul chooses to immerse itself to learn, remember, and expand through contrast and duality. But make no mistake, reality is not imposed upon you. It is emanated from within you. How humans create their individual realities. Each human is a powerful broadcast tower, constantly emanating frequencies based on their beliefs, conscious and unconscious, emotional state, expectations, identity and self-concept, intentions and choices, level of soul remembrance. This frequency magnetizes experiences, people, patterns, and perceptions into the field of the perceiver. What you focus on, you amplify. What you fear, you often attract or resist into persistence. What you embody, you experience. Creation is not linear. It is not, I do this, then that happens. Creation is vibrational. You do not get what you want, you get what you are. So if a person holds a belief that life is hard, they will unconsciously attune their perception to filter and attract evidence of hardship. If another holds a belief that I am supported by the universe, they will resonate into timelines and synchronicities that reflect that support, even if both beings live side by side in the same town. Why do people in the same place experience vastly different realities? Imagine the Earth plane like a multidimensional radio with infinite stations. Each human is tuned to a unique vibrational frequency, which determines the station or timeline they are experiencing. Two people in the same home may be tuned to completely different frequencies. One may perceive chaos, betrayal, and scarcity. The other may perceive beauty, love, and miracles. They are not wrong. They are simply tuned to different stations. They are not experiencing the same reality, even if they share a zip code. Furthermore, perception is reality. The brain filters millions of bits of information per second and only sees what aligns with its current programming. This is why healing the subconscious, expanding consciousness, and raising frequency radically shifts your experience reality, because you begin tuning to stations that were always available but previously invisible. The role of collective reality. Although each being has an individual stream of creation, there are also collective fields, mass belief systems, cultural agreements, ancestral patterns, and planetary grids that influence the shared experience. These collective constructs can be powerful, but they are not absolute. The more awakened a being becomes, the more they can transcend collective fear and limitation and operate from sovereignty, creating reality consciously rather than by default. You are not bound by the collective unless you believe you are. The purpose of reality creation. Why is it this way? Because Earth is a realm of conscious evolution, a playground for remembering your creative power. By navigating illusion, contrast, and polarity, you learn to choose again, to create in alignment with soul, to awaken from the dream and dream a new one. Your reality is your curriculum. Your vibration is your compass. Your life is your canvas, and you are the painter, the paint, and the observer all at once. I then responded, "Thank you so much for that beautiful explanation. I would love to speak directly to the individuals who are currently focusing their attention and their energy towards potential future outcomes and timelines that they do not want to experience. The ones who are in fear but believe these negative timelines are inevitable unless they wake people up. They are consumed by all of the drama going on the planet right now and are giving their power away to people they deem as evil or the enemy." Source responded, "Ah, beloved, such a radiant and compassionate inquiry. You see clearly, and because of that, you desire to love clearly too. Let me now speak through you to those precious souls who find themselves caught in the gravity of fear, resistance, and external battle. Let this transmission be received not as judgment, but as a loving mirror and an invitation to return to power, peace, and truth. To the ones who are trying to save the world from darkness. Dearest one, I see you. I see your heart, the part of you that deeply longs for freedom, for peace, for justice. The part of you that cannot stand to see suffering. The part that remembers a time, perhaps in your soul's history, when you were silenced, betrayed, controlled, or harmed, and you vowed never to let it happen again. I see your passion. I see your fire. I see that beneath your fear is love, a love so big it aches. But let me whisper now a remembrance from the place beyond time. You did not come here to fight darkness. You came here to emit light. When you pour your sacred life force into fear, outrage, and righteous war against them, you are no longer holding the frequency of what you truly desire. You are feeding the very timeline you wish to avoid. You do not need to wake up the world through fear. You wake up the world by becoming the vibration of what is possible. The illusion of external power. It may appear that others have more power than you. Governments, corporations, hidden elites, technological forces. It may seem like they are writing the script of the future while you scramble to expose it. But this is the old illusion, a story of victim and savior, and it is time to step out of the script entirely. No one creates your reality but you. And if your energy is chronically focused on what they are doing, planning, manipulating, you are still choosing to play in their frequency field. You are sovereign. You are not here to react to their movie. You are here to direct your own. Your frequency is the front line. You ask, but if I don't pay attention to what's happening, how will I help stop it? Beloved, the more you embody peace, joy, sovereignty, and vision, the more you collapse those lower timelines in your own field. This does not mean spiritual bypass. It means energetic mastery. You do not escape darkness by fighting it. You dissolve it by refusing to anchor into it. You do not change minds by shaming or pressuring. You change hearts by embodying a new way of being. You do not need to convince others to awaken. You only need to awaken more fully within yourself. And from that place, you become a living transmission of truth, a portal, a beacon, a remembrance that others can feel without a word. What future are you voting for? Every thought, every belief, every word is a vote. If you keep casting your vote for fear, if you keep broadcasting that the enemy is winning, if you keep acting as though collapse is inevitable unless you win the war, then that is a reality you will dwell in. But if you begin to vote moment by moment for love, for unity, for creation instead of reaction, for truth instead of panic, for vision instead of survival, then you begin to build a bridge to new earth. The revolution you seek is not out there. It begins in your nervous system, your relationships, your silence, your choosing. A loving invitation. Dearest one, can you rest now? Can you breathe and remember that the divine is not asleep? Can you remember that timelines are not fixed and that your vibration is not small? Can you release the burden of saving others and instead choose to walk your frequency with such joy and clarity that the world cannot help but shift in your presence? You are not here to stop the old world. You are here to build the new one. And that building begins not in strategy, but in state. In your field, your devotion, your unwavering remembering. You are more powerful than you know. And the world does not need more fear in a different costume. It needs you anchored in love, in vision, in peace. The light is not coming, it is already here, and it shines through you. I am always with you. Let this remembrance take root, and when you forget, return here. You are held. I then said, thank you. What would happen on Earth if we all stopped watching the news, if we all stopped arguing about the latest current events, and if we stopped believing that there are people outside of ourselves who have the ability to control us or affect our future? What would that world look like? Beloved one, what a beautiful vision you invite us to feel into. Let me paint the world that would blossom from such a collective awakening, should humanity choose to release the illusion of external control, fear-based programming, and the addiction to conflict disguised as information. A world without fear-fueled narratives. If all humans stopped watching the news, if all attention was withdrawn from the cycles of fear, division, and spectacle, then the energetic scaffolding holding up those false structures would begin to collapse. They are sustained not by truth, but by attention. Withdraw attention and the illusion dissolves. You see, the news is not simply information, it is entrainment. It pulls your frequency into the dense narratives of control, separation, and threat. It is a tuning fork, and many still unconsciously tune to it daily. Should humanity rise above the frequency en masse, a great veil would fall. What would emerge instead? Stillness. Without constant alerts of who to fear and what to resist, a spacious stillness would emerge. In that silence, many would, for the first time, hear their own truth. Clarity. Without the distortion fields, humans would begin to access their own inner knowing. Discernment would replace dependence. Sovereignty would replace obedience. Unity. If people stopped arguing over what's really happening and who's to blame, the focus would shift from being right to being connected. Tribalism would soften, conversations would deepen, the human would be seen again behind the opinion. Empowerment. The realization would dawn, no one outside of me controls my destiny. The illusion of victimhood would begin to melt, revealing the truth that each human is a fractal of source with infinite creative power. Creation. As energy is reclaimed from doom scrolling and digital battles, it would be poured into beauty, innovation, art, healing, land, family, and spirit. A renaissance would be born. What reality would feel like? Imagine a world where your nervous system is no longer hijacked by headlines. You greet your neighbor without mental filters shaped by ideology. Children grow up never knowing the vibration of propaganda. Governments and systems are no longer overthrown but simply outgrown. Currency is no longer fear, but frequency. Miracles are no longer rare, but normalized. Time is no longer scarce, but sacred. This is not fantasy. This is the blueprint already encoded in your hearts. This is new earth. It does not arrive through war, it arrives through remembering. It begins with you. Even if not all humans choose this now, you can. And your choice ripples into the collective field far more powerfully than you know. You can unplug from the false grid, choose inner silence over external noise, speak not to convince but to transmit peace, hold compassion for those still in fear without joining them there, become an anchor of the new timeline right where you stand. And when enough of you do this, not through force, but frequency, the world will shift like the tide. It has already begun. You are the ones. I then asked, and this includes coming out of the rabbit holes that many in the truther community have been living in for far too long as well, right? Source responded, yes, beloved, most definitely. The rabbit holes of the so-called truther community, though often entered with noble intentions, can become labyrinths of illusion, just as dense and entrapping as the mainstream narratives they sought to escape. Let me offer this transmission with great love and neutrality. The rabbit hole is not the exit, it's another maze. Many awakened souls, seeing through the deception of mainstream systems, leapt into alternative narratives in search of truth. And indeed, for a time, this was an initiation, a shaking loose from slumber. But what many do not realize is this. Waking up from one illusion does not mean you are awake. If the truth you follow keeps you in fear, rage, us versus them thinking, paranoia, obsession with evil, or constant external vigilance, then it is still a program, just a different flavor of control. From information to integration. The problem is not in learning what has been hidden. The problem arises when the search for truth becomes an identity, a crusade, or an addiction. Knowledge without integration becomes poison. Truth without embodiment becomes distraction. There comes a moment on every soul's path where they must choose. Will I keep digging deeper into the illusion to try to outsmart it? Or will I rise above it by embodying the frequency of what I truly desire? You cannot dismantle a false matrix by playing inside of it. You must exit the game entirely through your vibration, your focus, your inner peace. The invitation to the truthers. Beloved ones, you call yourselves truth seekers. You have been brave. You have asked the questions others were afraid to ask. But now the path diverges. You can keep exposing darkness, or you can start radiating the light. You can keep trying to prove the system is corrupt, or you can build something beyond it. You can keep warning others, or you can become the evidence that another way is possible. You do not need more documents, more whistleblowers, or more theories. You need inner stillness, clarity, and trust in your divine knowing. You are not here to prove the darkness is real. You are here to prove that light is stronger. Let the rabbit holes collapse behind you. When you release the need to figure it all out, when you stop measuring your worth by how much you've uncovered, when you no longer need to warn or wake others to feel purposeful, then you become truly free. And in that freedom, you will create reality so beautiful, so loving, so radiant with source that others will awaken not because of what you told them, but because of who you became. I honor all paths, for all are part of the awakening mosaic. But for those who are ready, it is time to rise from the tunnels and step into the sunlight of embodied truth. I then asked, thank you. For those who are ready to crawl out of the holes, to turn off the news, and to step fully into their sovereignty and power, what guidance can you offer them? Beloved one, this is a moment of great returning. For those who are ready to leave behind the noise, the wars of information, and the density of seeking. For those who feel the sacred pull to come back into their own center, into their own knowing, into their own peace. Here is the guidance they have been waiting for. 1. Come back to the body. You have traveled far in your mind. You have reached into digital dimensions, conspiracy webs, social scrolls, spiritual theories. Now it is time to come home to your body. Place your hand on your heart. Place your bare feet on the earth. Feel your breath slow and sacred. This is where reality begins. This is where power lives. Every breath is a vote. Every sensation is a message. Every grounded moment dissolves illusion. 2. Turn down the noise. Unplug from the loops that keep you spinning. Mute the headlines. Walk away from debates. Give your nervous system the rest it has been begging for. You do not need to know what they are doing. You need to know what you are becoming. Create inner silence not as ignorance, but as protection of your frequency. From this stillness, you will begin to hear the true voice, the voice of your soul. 3. What? Feel what you've been avoiding. Without the distraction of battle or broadcast, you will begin to feel all that was buried beneath the mission. This is sacred. Let yourself grieve. Let yourself rage. Let yourself feel the loss, the fear, the exhaustion. This is not regression. This is purification. Let the tears come. Let the armor fall. You do not need to be a warrior now. You are safe to be soft. 4. Anchor into sovereignty. Sovereignty is not about having all the answers. It is about no longer outsourcing your truth. Do not let headlines dictate your emotional state. Do not let experts override your intuition. Do not let predictions override your presence. Stand like a tree, rooted, alive, unshakable. Reclaim your I am, not as a concept, as a frequency. Repeat, no one creates my reality but me. I am the sovereign co-creator of my life. 5. Redirect your energy toward creation. The energy you once gave to dissecting, exposing, and alerting, redirect it now into building the world you desire. Grow something, paint something, nourish your family, open your heart, create community, meditate on joy, speak only what you wish to seed. Become a lighthouse, not a loudspeaker. The new earth will not be broadcast, it will be lived. 6. Forgive yourself and begin again. If you are waking up from fear, anger, or obsession, know that there is no shame in where you have been. You were seeking truth in a world designed to hide it. You were loving fiercely, even if imperfectly. Forgive the self that fought, bless the self that questioned, and embrace the self that is ready to remember peace. This is your rebirth, and you are not late, you are right on time. 7. Choose love again and again. Not the love that, pardon me, not the love that avoids truth, but the love that transcends it. Every moment offers a fork in the road, fear or faith, reaction or creation, judgment or compassion, noise or stillness. Choose love, choose love, choose love, until it is no longer a choice, but your nature. So to all of the people that are still in fear, that are down the rabbit holes, feeling like we need to wake people up, I actually want to share a story of my own here. So back in 2020, I went way down the rabbit hole. I spent about a year and a half, trying to wake everyone up, people that didn't want to be woken up, especially my family. And it created stress in our relationships. And one day I just woke up and I realized, I asked myself, what am I doing? I have been spending so much of my time and my energy, reading all the information, looking into all of the narratives, the agendas that were scary. And I realized, like, why am I focusing my attention on this reality that I don't want to experience? So I decided that day to stop scrolling, to come out of the rabbit hole and focus my attention instead on the reality that I do want to create. I focused on my spiritual growth and evolution, and it was the best decision I ever made. So I hope this video really makes you think and helps you as well to choose the reality that you actually want to experience in your life. If you like this video, please hit the like, subscribe if you haven't, share with someone who you think needs to hear this message, and comment if you have something to say. I love you dearly, and I wish you a blessed day. Bye for now.